going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. It is mid of September right now and fall is about to kick in. So today I'm going to share with you guys what I'm planning for the fall garden, and we're going to do some cleanup in the garden. Let's go. So this is my first year of starting my fall gardens or the winter garden. This is because this year I recently expanded my front yard to have more space to grow more fruit. In the past, I've never grown fall garden before because I don't have any space, and I have no sun in the backyard as well because all the sunlight that I get is mostly in the front yard. So in terms of growing in the fall, what you want to grow is a lot of leafy greens like lettuce, spinach, cauliflowers or sweet chars and cabbages, kale, because these type of plant, they are more cold tolerant to the first frost, and sometimes they can survive over the winter as well. Alright, so in this bed, I'm pretty much cleaning up my cabbage bed, and then I'm putting in the mustard greens. So these mustard greens are basically the seed that came up a week ago that basically sprout on its own when I was clearing up the patch, and then the seed got scattered everywhere on the other side. So I pretty much transplanted it over to this side. The green mustard, they grow pretty fast. Their time frame of maturity from seed is usually from 35 days to 50 days. So once you get to the maturity, the leaves are really big, and that's where you want to harvest it, and you can eat that with soup or sauteing it. However, you can still also like eat the young leafy greens. You can add that into the mix of your salad bowl and all that stuff. And then also in this patch, I'm also growing some Russian kale. This Russian kale, I think this is the white variety. I also have the red variety in there as well. So Russian kale, or in kale in general, is known to be like really cold hardy, to withstand in zone 7. In the past, I grew kale before, and they pretty much survived the whole winter and then coming out from the next spring. So this thing is really cold hardy. And similar to the mustard green, so kale take around like usually like 50 days to reach its maturity, and then you can harvest it. And also again, you can add the young leaf into your lettuce with your salad bowl, and you don't have to wait until for like full maturity to harvest kale. And if you notice, like my kale is pretty sad, all the seedling is pretty much like one leaf only, and it's pretty much a tiny stem. That's because like this year we have like extreme heat, and also we have high humidity, and the bug was just keep eating it like crazy, and I couldn't get it off from it. But once you transplant this thing in and it starts to take root, it's gonna go take off like really quick once the cool weather come in. Of course, next on the list is my lettuce, because this year I made a goal to grow lettuce all year round. And however, right now I don't have lettuce right now, but in the fall I have to make sure I have lettuce for my family to eat, because we eat a lot of lettuce. And lettuce is actually really cold hardy. In general, they can withstand down to like 20° F Fahrenheit. However, I had some lettuce that was volunteer from last year that pretty much made through the whole winter, where we dropped down to like 5° Fahrenheit, and then it still like survive throughout the spring, and then once spring come, it just like go berserk, and then it start growing like crazy. So even though it withstand the cold, hardy, harsh winter, it stopped growing pretty much. So this lettuce out here is not going to be protected. However, I'm going to grow another section of lettuce in the other side, that where I'm going to put a hoop house over it to extend my winter gardening. So make sure that if you're new, to hit that subscribe button to follow along on my journey to see how I'm going to extend my winter gardening in zone 7. And next on the list is the Chinese pak choy or bok choy. For some reason I cannot find my bok choy seeds, so I'm growing some pak choy out here to get a quick harvest. The pak choy grow really fast, like I mentioned on my spring garden where I grew the bok choy and bok choy. It took only like 30 days for maturity. So I planted this during the mid of September, so by the time the first frost hit, I should have like a good harvest. And even though the frost will hit, I think it will still can able to withstand like light frost and so forth. So also there is another variety called tatsoi. That variety is pretty much really cold hardy. It can withstand down to like 10 degrees Fahrenheit. So as you can see, it's really cold hardy. And I don't have the seed right now, but I did put an order in, so I'm waiting it for it to come, so that way I can plant it outside and in the hoop house as well. And in this bed right here, I am growing cabbages. Because the summer did not do so well, I'm attempting it again because cabbages like the cool weather as well. And it can withstand down to 24 Fahrenheit to 28 Fahrenheit. Along in this bed, I'm also growing collard green as well. And collard green can tolerate cold hardiness around like 10 degrees Fahrenheit with the maturity date around like 60 days to 80 days. And in this section, I'm thinking about putting a hoop house over it, so the date to maturity is not going to be an issue for me. Alright, so now we are moved to the other side of the garden with the additional 2 raised beds over here. So I can see I have some carrot in the background and some beets. So this was grown in the spring and it haven't even matured yet. So I'm just letting this to go into the fall and then into the winter as well. And in here I am sowing purple bok choy right here. So this variety is new for me because I did not grow it in the spring. I just found out about the purple variety and it's supposed to be really sweet and more sweeter than the regular bok choy. And I'm growing this in this section because I want to get nice harvest of bok choy basically the whole winter year round as well. And this 2 raised bed, this whole section right here is pretty much going to be protected by the hoop house right here. And then on the left is my water spinach beds. So I have to clean this up. I was debating whether to pull this out or not because I still have another month for this to regrow back and then get another harvest. But then I just decided to pull everything out so that way I have space to start my fall garden on this section. And if you guys don't know what water spinach is, it's pretty much like a part of the morning glory family, and you can eat the green leaves and the stem as well. And this thing grows really fast. There's a video about that on how to grow it, and you can harvest it within like 25 days to 30 days. So once I clear up the bed, I'm growing spinach in this section, basically like a 2 by 2 square foot for this section for the regular American spinach. And the spinach is pretty cold hardy. They can handle down to around 15 degrees Fahrenheit, and the maturity date is around like 45 days. However, you can do like baby spinach leaf as well if you want to add that into your salad bowl. So it's a good crop to grow because you don't have to grow and wait for it to be mature to harvest it. And then on the other side of the 2 by 2 section is I'm growing arugula. So arugula is really cold hardy. It can withstand down to like 6 Fahrenheit and it will survive the cold frost with no issue. And this thing will probably last the whole winter in zone 7 for Northern Virginia. And the maturity date for arugula is roughly around 35 to 50 days. However, like spinach and lettuce, you don't have to wait until like the maturity date to harvest it, and you can just pick the baby leaves and then add into your dish or your salad bowl and just start picking in it. So here in the back of this raised basket, I'm putting in more lettuce, as mentioned earlier. So because this section of the raised bed will be protected by a hoop house, and I'm putting in some cimarrons and red velvets in this section to extend this lettuce throughout the winter months. So in this section of the bed, I'm growing Chinese broccoli. So Chinese broccoli is not like American broccoli. We are growing it just to get the leafy greens to eat it, and it's kind of like the collard green version of the for the Asian. Alright, and this thing can tolerate down to around like 28 degrees Fahrenheit. So this thing is pretty much cold hardy, and the maturity date for this is around like 50 to 55 days. However, you can still pick this with like as a baby leaf because it's a leafy green. Alright guys, so those are the vegetables that I'm growing this fall, and I'm going to try to extend this into the winter as well by covering this section with a hoop house. So make sure to hit the subscribe and follow along on my journey, and I'll see you guys on the next video.